Scleroderma board. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, but I'm really here because I'm of my friends. I consider my group people now my friends, all my friends out there in the support group. And of course, Jessica. Jessica's going to come up and we're going to, well, I guess I'll preface before I start. Jessica and I are not actresses. We were really excited that we got asked to come talk to you guys again this year, and we were trying to figure out what we wanted to talk about, what would be a good thing for us to kind of revisit. And we started talking about things we talk about in our support group, and I know Rona's here somewhere. She was. Oh, there she is. Rona runs the support group too. We started talking about, and Taylor, oh, I didn't see you there. Yes, hi. So that in our support groups, we spend a lot of time talking about, I'm going to take over the slide, I have a couple slides, about communication. So Jessica and I are going to talk a little bit about communication, and then Jessica and I are going to act out some skits. And you know, there would be, you guys got your tomatoes, you might be throwing tomatoes at us, or it might be fun. But we're hoping it's fun. Because communication, I was looking at the survey at the table with the doctors, and it said very informative. I hope for you guys can put very interactive. Very interactive. Because we know, everybody knows about communication. It's something we do every day. We take it for granted, but I thought I'd just kind of revisit it to get you guys thinking about how do you communicate with your family members, your caregiver, with your friends when it comes to your scleroderma. And our skits hopefully will bring some of that to light. So we're going to talk about, oh, I like the slide because the girl's going blah, 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 and the friends that's standing there. I grew up watching the Peanuts, and you know the teacher always goes wah, 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 and the kids talk. You know, I think one of the greatest skills that we take for granted is listening. And as a counselor, I like to listen. Listening is a skill I have. I'm pretty quiet, except when I get a mic. But overall, I like to listen. And listening is a skill that takes some work. It takes work to listen. And you might find that you rather be talking or you rather be listening, right? And in your relationships, you could probably think of who's the talker and who's the listening. But when you're really listening to somebody, you will ask them to repeat or rephrase if you don't understand. We were over here at our table talking about different generations and millennials, and one of the things, I have teenagers, a lot of times I don't know what they're saying because I don't understand the words they're using. So I have to say, what does that mean? Or can you repeat it? I have to ask and clarify. So we can't assume we always want to when we're listening. Also, probe for missing information. Probe for missing information. If someone's talking and you're not really sure, I can honestly say with the doctors, a lot of it I didn't understand. But if I had more time, maybe I would have probed and asked more questions. Like we said, some of it went over my head, but a lot of it I did understand. But if you had more time, when you go to your doctor's office, you want to be able to ask questions, right? Also, confirm you understand what information was relayed. You know, confirm that you understand what information. So that's just kind of checking it out. So you're telling me you're not feeling well today, or you're telling me you're happy today. You know, just asking for clarification. That's signs of good listening. All right, so listening. Verbal communication. Verbal communication kind of goes the same way. You want to use short sentences so that people are clear on what you're trying to convey. You want to use direct questions. You don't want to kind of talk about over here. You really want to be clear and ask direct questions. Now, we all heard of that, those open questions, like open-ended questions, they call them, when you kind of say, well, what do you think about that? I'm just kind of asking for more information. Versus if I say, would you do it or would you not do it? Like yes or no. So those are called closed questions. So closed question is, you know, when you want to get a certain, for sure, an answer back. But if you just want to hear where somebody's at, an example was coming, I'm going to talk about Jessica. We were in the car driving here, and she's like, oh, I didn't sleep last night. I was really anxious. And I said, anxious? You were anxious about talking? And she's like, no, I'm not anxious. She's like, excited. I'm really excited about talking. So that was an example. Anxious and excited are kind of the same thing, but yet not. And because I said, you mean you're anxious? So I said, hey, I'm going to share that. That's a perfect example of clarifying. I was clarifying what it really was she was trying to communicate. Tone. If I'm talking like this, and you know, you might not understand, right? And I have a really high voice, so that I can't be deep. But my son just came home from college, and over a year, his voice, he could be on the radio, talk like this low, and he's like a man. Like, he went to college, he came back, and he's got this really cool, deep voice. But tone is important. And also, again, pace. If you're talking really fast or really slow. Now, sometimes we're not feeling well, we're having hard communicating, we may talk slow. Right? So hopefully our families or caregivers are aware that we're still talking. Give us time to really say what we want to say and be respectful of that. I put on the slide a picture of duct tape. Let's see if I have it around. Yeah. I went to a workshop last week, and it just happened the person was talking about communication. And the lady held up this piece of duct tape. And I'm thinking, what is she doing with this piece of duct tape? And she's like, I think one of the greatest things in communication is to remember to pause and listen more, because majority of us are more quick to want to talk. And then duct tape is a reminder to tape your mouth shut, basically. And so I went with a colleague to this training, and she called me the next day. I pulled out my duct tape 3 times today because I wanted to say something, and I remembered to pause. So duct tape, you have tape at home, and then I'm trying to bring you guys all a piece of tape. For my extra. But I think pausing and just remembering we sometimes are really quick to talk back and forth. And I'm really speaking to the caregivers and, you know, each other. And Jessica and I are going to dialogue some situations that you might see happen at home. Because I want to say there's no perfect person in this room, right? We all have times we communicate and listen well, and we have times when we don't. All right, Jess, how you coming? Let's see where I'm at. All right, communication's like a puzzle piece. I just like the side. It's like how to fit them together. Oh, I wanted to mention real quick too, that one of the biggest ones is nonverbal communication. 85% of what we communicate usually happens non-verbally, right? So, how are you doing today? You know, people say great, but they got a scowl on their face, right? I'm doing fine. They smile. Sometimes, how are you feeling today? I feel fine. And you know, the pitch high, and you don't seem like you feel fine. Well, I'm okay, because our non-verbal language will speak for itself. So basically, facial expressions, physical contact. An example of physical, for those that know me, you know, when you're in training and count, you know, as a therapist, you're not supposed to touch people. But I'm kind of a hugger and a toucher, so I always have to be aware because I want to touch people. Because I believe touch is really important, right? It's a human, I just think it's a natural thing. So when you are dealing with someone that on the outside, I always hug Jessica, even though she may not want me to. I always do. Yeah, so but it's important. That's a way of communicating also, is with touch. All right. So we are, kind of to set the premise, we're going to role play a couple examples of communication, and we're going to do like 2 scenarios. So, and then what we want is we can have open dialogue about what we're going to talk about. Yeah, you get the mic, but just don't be back here. You grab that mic. I don't want to get back there. I don't want to make it screech if I go back there.
Oh, that's too much.
So you want to just do it.
All right, Jessica's staying there.
So, do you want to set it up or just? Okay, so I'm home and she's coming over to try to get me to like go somewhere with her.
And here's the guys.
All right.
Oh, sorry. I'm home and Mel's coming over and she's trying to get me to go somewhere with her too.
All right, knock knock. Hey, I'm so excited. I've been waiting all week to go to this movie. I've read the reviews. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. Come on, let's go. What's wrong?
I'm not really feeling good tonight.
What do you mean you don't feel good?
I don't know, I just kind of had a bad night. I was in pain and I was looking forward to it, but I don't know if I can go.
You're dressed, you have your makeup on, you look like you're fine.
I know, but that doesn't always express how I feel inside. I might just want to maybe reschedule.
No, you said you were going to come. Maybe you're just a little depressed. And getting out of the house will cheer you up. You'll feel better if you get out of the house. That's your problem. You never go anywhere.
No, I can't. You don't understand, and I'm not going to keep.
You know what, Jess? You do this all the time. I'm still going to the movies without you. All right, so this is take two. Hey, ready to go to the movies? I've been looking forward to it. I've read the reviews. I already got us ordered some things online. I just can't wait to go. It's going to be a great time.
I'm not feeling good. I don't think I can make it tonight.
What do you mean?
I'm in pain. You know, disease makes me in pain sometimes. It's hard to predict if I can or can't do something. Depends on the day.
You don't think that I can get the car, I'll bring it up to the front, I'll pick you up, we can go together. You know, I really was looking forward to going this.
No, I don't think so.
You know what? That's okay. How about there's a lot of good rentals out right now. I saw on demand, there's one I really want to see. How about could we still have the evening together and maybe rent a movie and stay in the house tonight?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
That's awesome. And then if you don't feel good, you can just take a little nap, go to sleep. Would that work?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's go. Let's pick up something.
So here, these examples are both things that have happened to me with my disease. Sometimes I make plans and the day comes and your disease has other plans for you. So most of the time my friends are understanding, but they also see me as normal still because I still try to do what I can, so sometimes they forget. They tell me that, they forget I have scleroderma. So sometimes when I say, you know, I'm not feeling good, they're like, are you sure you're not feeling good? Like, you know, you can just, because they're excited, because, you know, we have a good time when we go places and stuff. And so sometimes it's caused, you know, arguments like in the first scene where it's like, well, are you sure? You just need to get out of the house. And it's like, no, I don't feel good, leave me alone. I already told you, you know. And then, but majority of the time, they're very understanding. They either change the plans or they adapt it to where it's something that I can do. And that's all a part of like communicating and understanding. And the caregiver or the friend has to be sensitive to the fact that we can't predict how we're gonna feel on a day-to-day basis. So that was the point of this.
All right, awesome. Okay, so get your sweater. Okay, so this is our second vignette. All right, I told you we're not actresses, so okay, go. Wow, this is a great hotel. This is really nice. Oh, it's a little cold in here, but that's okay. You know, we can get some coffee. Yeah. Hey, look, there's Lori. Hey, Lori, how are you? So glad you came today. Yeah. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Well, come on, let's go. What's going on?
I'm trying to put my sweater on, and I'm just having a little bit of a hard time.
Do you maybe need some help with that?
Yeah.
So why didn't you just say that?
Well, because you were just talking and you were so excited and I didn't want to interrupt you, and sometimes I feel like doing things on my own.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. I don't know when I should let you struggle and do things on your own, or when I should actually help you. Sometimes I feel like I have to kind of read your mind.
Yeah, you're right. I should have asked you. I won't get frustrated. I'll just ask you next time.
Great, awesome. Let me do that. Let me help you with that.
That's the second picture. No,
All right, she's really not. She's really not.
So I'm sure that was pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes we need help, or we need the healthy person that we're with to kind of slow down and go at our pace, because we have a different pace than a healthy person. So I used to be prideful, but now I kind of need a lot of help, so I usually don't not ask for help, but I usually say what's going on. But as long as they can be in tune with my needs. Most people in my life are in tune with my needs, and you kind of learn when you have someone with scleroderma, like when to be hands-on and when to be hands-off. So it's good to know that balance.
Yeah, and as a friend or a caregiver of someone with scleroderma, we talked about that I don't want to you like enable her or her to feel like she can't still do things, because there's many things she can still do. So in a way it comes off like I'm ignoring it or I'm not really being sensitive, when in my mind it's like, because I want them to be independent. I'm sure many of the family caregivers can relate to that. You want them to do as much as they still can. And so that balance, again, that as communicators, none of us are mind readers, right? So it does come to that we have to be more open and comfortable with talking. Like I said, asking questions, clarifying, or saying, hey, well, why didn't you just say that? I didn't know. Okay. Hey, okay. Say, we got these down. Okay, hey, you ready to go to the doctors?
Yeah, I have an appointment. Okay. Yeah, I have an appointment today, and I'm really, really anxious about it.
Every, annual visit. Why are you anxious?
No, sometimes I get anxious. Well, most of the time I get anxious, and the night before I can't sleep because my mind is running with the possibilities of what the doctor could say.
We already know that everything's fine. You've been totally stable. There's been no changes. You've had a couple weeks. I don't understand why we have to have this drama every time we go to the doctors of anxiety and being stressed.
Yeah, it's just innate. It just comes with the disease because it's unpredictable. So you can be stable and things can seem a certain way, and the next time you go and they throw in a ringer that you weren't expecting. A test result, a blood test, it could be anything. So sometimes I get anxious.
I guess I can understand that. For me, I see it as I'd rather not deal with it unless I have to. For me, I don't want to think there's going to be anything wrong, so I can see how I'm being insensitive to you being anxious about that. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so is there something we could do maybe before we go to help with your anxiety?
Yeah, or you could just come with me.
That's great. Okay, I'll definitely go with you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that helps.
All right, that's take one. All right, this is take two. Hey, come on, get ready. We gotta go to the doctor's appointment. I got all your meds lined up. I got your sheets. I got your scans. I have your stuff. Hey, I found a new article in that research. We went to this great conference, the Patient Education Day. I got some new medicines I wrote down. I want to find out about it. We have come on. Why are you ready? Where are we going?
We're going to the doctor's.
I know, but we have a whole list of things we need to cover. Did you get that?
Oh yeah, I got it. It's all in my phone. I got
Yeah.
it. This isn't my first time.
I know, but all right. Well, I'm just really excited. We had this great talk, and there's some new research, and I really want to find out more about it. You ready to go?
Yes, I am. I really appreciate your enthusiasm for my appointment.
All right.
I got most of this in order, but I do appreciate your support. I like that you're researching things ahead of time. It makes me feel really good.
Awesome. Yeah.
So this has also kind of happened when I go to the doctors, or any of us, we get anxious before the appointments, because sometimes you don't know what they're going to say, or you had a test done that you're just not sure how it's going to come out, or with me lately, it was my PFTs that kept going down every time I would go, and I would be so anxious to know what's the result, and I'm constantly checking my phone and stuff. So for me, it's nice to have support to go with me to the appointments, because I feel like I'm not alone and somebody else is in this with me, and that way if I am there and I receive some kind of news, I have somebody to lean on and somebody to kind of support me in that moment, as versus being by myself. Because there have been times where I'm by myself and then I go sit in my car and I just cry. But I notice I don't cry when there's somebody else around, because it just feels like the burden is kind of being lightened with the other person that's with me. And
Yeah, that's awesome. And it could be beneficial to have, we all know when you're in the doctor's office, half of what you want to ask by the time he's like, okay, that, you didn't ask him, you get out in your car and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't even ask what I wanted. So it's good to have that other person can be the person that has the questions written down, or just to help you keep your medical records organized and what you want to do and ask. And it does sound like this morning there's going to be a lot of research going on, so just things and articles and being together as a team. I thought in my example I was a little aggressive and I was like really into it, which is good. So that balance of wanting to help your loved one that, with their medical, but also being respectful. Ultimately, it's their decision on what treatment they want to do, their decision on what medicines they want to try. It's ultimately up to them. We can just be there as a support system. Okay, we're going to do more. I'm just pretending I'm working. Don't worry, I won't touch it. All right, I'm working.
hey Mel, can you help me with something, please?
What?
Can you help me with something? I need help.
What?
Can you help me with something? I need you to come help me with something.
All right, in a minute, Jess. I have to finish this. This is due in about an hour, and I got to get in. Can you wait?
Well, I'm
Oh, you know what, Jess? I really have to get this down. Can you not do this yourself? It feels like whenever I'm trying to get accomplished something that you're always asking me to do something. I really need this hour to get this done. Can you do that for me?
I thought I could ask you for help whenever you need it. I thought I could come on you, but
Well, can you put it on hold for an hour?
it's not something that I can do on hold, but okay, if that's how you feel, I don't want to bother you.
All right, thanks. I really appreciate it. Okay, so we'll do it again?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Hey Mel, can you help me with something?
Hey, what? Yeah, what, Jess? What?
Can you help me with something? 911 ASAP.
Oh, 911?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come right there. Sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Everything all right? What can I do? All right. Thank you.
So that one has happened to me a lot. Just asking somebody for something like multiple times, and they are either busy or they don't hear you or they forget. And so me as a patient or as whatever, as somebody who's disabled, I get very frustrated. So my therapist actually said, if you ever have a problem with somebody helping you, come up with a code word like pineapple or ASAP or 911. And that way the caregiver knows, like, or your friend or whoever knows, like, you need them to help you with something right in that moment. Because, you guys are busy, caregivers are busy, you do have a life too. Your life isn't just, taking care of us all the time. There is stuff that you have to do on your own, but yeah, that's what my therapist said, just to have a code word so that way I don't get really, really frustrated on the inside and feel hurt by her not helping.
Yeah, we talked about finding that balance, because if I'm getting up every couple minutes, maybe my work is what's paying the bills. You know, I have to, you know, do things to keep things running in the household, but yet she still has care needs too. So it's just her being respectful of what I'm doing, and that person, you're shaking because you're a caregiver right now. Yeah, shaking back there. So again, it comes back to communication. Now, I was trying to get mad at her, but I didn't do a very good job. I was trying to fight with her. Because what happens is when one person's needs are not being met and the other one feels they're not being heard, what happens? We have conflicts. That's when we get in an argument and we fight. But we're really not mad at each other, right? We're mad at that I need to get this done and I have the stress of doing what I need to do. And she's upset because she can't do what she wants to do and has to wait for me, and it's that cycle of communication and caregiving.
The other things too, like sometimes, for me it was denial in the beginning, when people around me were in denial a little bit, that I needed so much help. And then once you get over that denial, you accept it, that this is what life is, and be more supportive of it, things go a lot more smoother and the actions are a lot better.
Awesome. So that, does anyone have any maybe scenario they want to share, how they communicate, or do you have a code word? Does anyone use pineapple? Or a scenario on how you do improve communication? I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but we're here. Yeah, you guys are all experts at communicating. Could you relate to some of the scenarios we were talking about? Okay, good.
It's the tone of voice.
The tone of voice. Someone could be smiling. Yeah. Fern's saying it's the tone of your voice. I could be smiling, sure, I'll come help you. I already do, all right, I'm brushing my teeth. That doesn't seem very sincere, right? So that comes back to being mindful of how we're communicating and how we're presenting. And again, like I said, none of us are perfect, and that's why when we started talking about how we were going to talk about it, we wanted to do the scenarios, because we wanted to show that any of those things we all can be in. But it comes back to just coming back and saying, maybe I'm sorry, right? I thought about it and I didn't handle that very well. Or I really want to understand your disease more, or what you need help with. And I really want to enjoy spending time with you and getting you out of this house, and how can we do that? So that really comes full circle. Right?
Yeah, the adapting on the other person's part, it's a lot. You guys know it's a lot of adapting. That's all we do our entire lives. We just